This is January 5th, 2016, construction observation report number 21 from Missoula College. I am on the roof, the main roof, and currently what's happening is that formwork is being placed on both penthouse slabs, and the slabs will be poured tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I've also been walking around and looking at the decking and the connection of the decking onto the main roof's structure. And the decking is, well, first of all, the steel framing is 100% installed. There's just some miscellaneous things that need to be done, such as finishing the decking. There's just some areas where they haven't pinned the deck to the structure yet, and then haven't quite done the edges. I'm on the south side right now looking down grid line F, and this is where the metal deck would have to continue all the way to the edge angle, and that hasn't quite been finished yet. And then there's other areas of the roof that the decking just hasn't been done yet, but the reinforcing for the west penthouse is good to go. Now we're looking at the east penthouse right here, east penthouse floor, and I will look at this and then report to Jackson if I see anything that doesn't quite work from our side sample. Now I'm standing on the level 4 and looking up at the penthouse floor, and guys are kind of working away. This is heated. These are curtains, insulated blankets that are making walls around the area that above us that will be poured with concrete tomorrow in a bit more. Also level 4, which has not been poured yet, but most of the rebar is in place and headed anchor studs. It's been in place for a while. I have not inspected it yet because there's too many areas that are still covered with ice and whatnot, but I'll do that when they get the ice melted off, and the rest, the balance of the reinforcement. One of the items on my punch list is metal stud framing items. There's a whole list of things on construction observation report number 19. One of them is just the clips from the studs to the steel. And here I'm standing at level 4 looking at the roof, and there's a lot of them missing, so I'm not really even going to go around and take a look at that, see if they're all in yet. So obviously there's not. Pretty cool icicle formation here on one of the braces on level 4, standing on grid line 10. It's kind of cool. And let's see, now towards the east, I'm walking towards the east wall on grid 13, and the metal wrap panels are being installed onto the metal studs right now. That's what that looks like. So the panels are, well, they're spliced on the studs, so you wouldn't see the vertical splices of those, but you can see the horizontal joints in the metal panels and how that system works. So that's coming along nicely. Okay, now I am standing at level 3, and I'm on the south side. So I'm looking at, this column must be grid 5 and F. You can see that the column splice connection has been ground smooth, and wow, it looks really good to me. It'll be something that the architects will have to review and improve as well. Another thing on this grid F, I'm looking up at level 4. You can see this is the south side, so it's the the glue lam beams and block deck, and right here we have a whole bunch of stub pieces, like wide flange stub pieces that are connected to the level 4 beam, and then they support a steel plate ledger, and that would be the ledger to support the glue lam beams over the south canopy, and so that's installed. It looks very strong. I'm really happy with the way that worked out, and that construction can continue with a simple connection between the canopy and the main level floor. So that happens all the way down, and I'm also happy with the way this level 3 slab turned out. I'm walking across it east to west, actually west to east, and still no shrinkage cracks in it. It's been it was poured a couple of months ago, so hopefully all the measures we did to help prevent shrinkage and crack are going to work. The majority of the shrinkage is done by now, so I'm really pleased with the way that turned out. Walking across to the east side, level 3 now, you can see ducts are installed in the mechanical chase, and the elevator shaft is covered right now, but there's the elevator support rails have not been installed yet. Stairs in the northeast side are installed, but still not usable yet. And then on the east wall, grid 13, the same metal wrap is installed, and you know, just behind the structure, steel framing. And we're going to see the difference here. Here's the column splice that has not been ground. This is probably grid E13, but you can see the difference. The backing plates are still in place. It's just an unfinished full penetration weld. It's called. So the difference between that one and the ground smooth column splice. Alright, now I'm on level 2. I'm on the north deck, and the north deck is glulam. Well, above on level 3 is glulam beams, lock deck, and then a concrete floor on level 2 where I'm standing. But we have steel columns that support glulam beam on grid B. Or maybe it's B1, I think it's B. Anyways, glulam beam spans 30 feet, and during the submittal process, it was discovered that the I guess the curtain wall will come up and actually contact the bottom of this beam. So the deflection on the beam needs to be limited, needs to be very limited. And what we're going to do is we're going to add 3 more columns to cut the span of the beam down from 30 feet to 15 feet. So what's going to happen is approximately at 3 locations, for instance here, a column will be installed right there to cut that beam size down. A little bit on the floor, and then on level 1 we'll support that extra load with a ganged up metal stud pack that carries that load down to the foundation. Standing on level 1 now, and what's happening down here is that the rough-in phase is going on, so there's metal stud walls, and there's ducts, and there's conduit, and all kinds of piping and other systems inside structure. And just taking a look at some of the studs and how they're connected to the floor above with our slotted track, so the floor can deflect without losing loads on the studs. And that's really good. Picking up these stud walls, and none of them are buckling at the moment, so that's a good sign that they've got the slotted track properly installed or not. So one of the things I'm seeing is that to support the new columns on grid B, columns on level 2 have support on level 1, so I'm saying the column here, that's grid 7, the column right here, that's grid 9, we need to have support halfway between the two, so kind of like right in here, that's where I've now specified 6 metal studs ganged up right below the new column above. That will frame the butt right up to the bottom of the beam on grid B at level 2, and then we will actually fill the cavity between the beam and the edge angle with non-shrink grout. It's a 2.5 inch gap. Oh, you can also see that this is I'm standing by the 2-stop elevator, and these 2 bar joists here, those were put in. That was some sort of a coordination snafu with those 2 bar joists. We cut those out completely because the metal deck, slab on metal deck, can actually span 9 feet between this wide flange and this wide flange. Stand on level 1 looking at the northeast stairs. So the northeast stairs are in place, but they're roped off with red tape, so nobody's allowed to use those. The other thing I see is that this little 3x3 column is used to support the landing, the intermediate landing of the northeast stairs. It was in the conference room, and then it has been moved into the stud wall. So that's no longer an issue. It looks like we do need to add a non-shrink grout underneath that space plate. Because it doesn't, that is not. But it looks like non-shrink grout has been completed on all the other columns. I will walk around level 1 and make sure that they've all been taken care of. So now I'm standing on the north side, and just looking at the northeast corner there, and just kind of giving an idea of what the building looks like at this point in the construction phase. And this whole thing's wrapped, so you can't really see much structure anymore. But one interesting thing is that the north canopy, this is at level 3, so there's a glulam beam right here, and eventually there'll be some brackets and some steel, some round steel braces that are attached to that, and this is going to look like it's structural, but it's interesting that what we did is we cantilevered all the minor beams about 9 feet, and this beam here is just, that's an aesthetic thing. It's completely non-structural, and the steel for that won't be put on for a couple of months. It's super interesting. Anyway, that concludes construction observation report number 21.